What's going on, guys? This is Travesty here, and today I am bringing you the quarterfinals of the MGL. So, managed to make it through as the second seed, and more importantly, Sotodl ended up being the leader in overall kills throughout the season. So that's pretty cool. I seem to be on a streak of getting the kill leader each season, so that's kind of fun, and we'll aim to keep that going. We are facing Maki this week, one of the founders, commissioners, whatever you want to call it, of this league, and she's been really helpful with setting up stuff and did a really cool thing with the announcing the draft order and whatever else. So make sure you go check her out in the description. She's someone we played a couple of times before, and it's always been a fun game. So hopefully it is for this one as well. You can see the matchup below me here. Biggest threats, obviously, the Pawnyard, Hisui and Zoroa. That pairing is really, really good. Maki actually had the last pick in the draft, which I think is generally agreed to be the best spot to be. And picking up that core shows exactly why. Because they complement each other so well, and they're both really scary wall breakers. And then the Pick-a-Peck is actually also a massive problem for my team. I don't have good flying checks at all, so Pick-a-Peck being there is a bit of a problem. And then I'm expecting probably Bergmite to be Tera Fairy, and then it can be any of the other mons realistically. I'm not really expecting Pichu or Ducklet. Pichu doesn't really get the coverage it needs to do as much damage as it needs to. And similarly with Ducklet, they just don't quite hit hard enough, and their jobs are better served by other things on the team, whereas Tera Fairy Bergmite is a really good check into the Scraggy. Chespin could come as a Blitzle check, kind of, but I think more likely is the Shellos or the Litten or the Paldean Whipper. So expecting to see one of those, and we'll see how we go. So you can see what I brought on screen. It's fucking fire. I'm bringing Choice Scarfed Whooper because of two main reasons. One, we actually can outspeed her entire team that's not scarfed with this investment, which is really cool. And then we can get a potential surprise KO on the Pick-a-Peck with Stone Edge if it's not scarfed. If it is scarfed, the only thing it can kill us with is Bullet Seed, and then we have Blitzle is Sap Sipper this week, so we have that to be immune to Bullet Seed, which is really nice. And also, Pawnyard is terrifying, and so if that thing gets up a Sword Stance and we've lost some other pieces, then we might be able to go out into Whooper and click EQ, because she won't be going for Sucker Punch on it most likely, and we can just get off an EQ and do big damage. If she does go Sucker Punch, then power to her. With this defense investment, like I said, we live anything from the Pick-a-Peck, and with the Unaware, we actually will live a Sucker from full as well from a Life Orb Pawnyard, so that's pretty cool. And also rocks could be really important in this game, so I want a way to, if I spend this thing's HP early to take out the Pawnyard, for example, then I can bring it in later at low HP and still outspeed stuff and just get last ditch rocks to try and chip things down if I need to. Then we have our second Scarfer is going to be Scraggy. I originally wanted to bring Dragon Dance, but it's just too hard to get up a DD in this game. I think too many things kind of KO us in return. We can kind of wall out like the Hisui and Zoroa if we can find it, and do big damage there, but Tera Fairy Bergmite is always going to be a problem. And so it's kind of better to just try and attack rather than set up anyway. And I wanted another check to that Pawnyard, so if it does get up an SD, obviously Scraggy will live like a billion Sucker Punches, and we can just safely click Drain Punch and get that thing out of there. So, or if we need to predict, we need to predict. But yeah, running dual Fighting Stab, because there's really not any other move that I wanted to run. I brought Unstab Dragon coverage last week, but it does literally even less into this team than it did last week, so I'm not doing it again. And Iron Heads for that Tera Fairy expectation, and if not, it's just good good coverage, into the Bergmite anyway. It's kind of safe, but if Bergmite isn't Tera Fairy, then I'm just going to be clicking CC or knock off pretty much every turn. But did mention we had the Blitzle. Oh, also speed investment is the same as the Whipper, outspeeds everything that's not scarfed, and the only things it doesn't outspeed that could be scarfed would outspeed us anyway, because the speed tiers are a little bit weird with this game, other than like Chespin, etc., which I'm not expecting to be scarfed. And if they get a Trailblaze up, they get a Trailblaze up, and we see how we go from there. I should maybe think about that. Oh well, because I don't think the defense EVs actually do anything for me. I might change those EVs around, but we'll see. Then we have Blitzle running Terra Ground with defense, just investment everywhere, just for shits and gigs. T-Bolt is so good into this team outside of the Wooper and the Chestpin. Flame Charge is doing a good amount to Chestpin. It's not a 2-hit KO, but if that thing gets whittled down, it can be a 2-hit KO. If we can get a Charge Beam off as well, then we can just start spamming Thunderbolt, and then Tera Blast Ground will annihilate a Wooper, as well as be good coverage into like Litten, and still allows us to hit Pawnyard a little bit harder, etc. We do have Sap Sipper, so like I said, if we know that the Pick-a-Peck is locked into Bullet Seed, we can wall it out, and something like the Pichu, if it's not running like Terra Ice, if it's running like Trailblaze and then like some other Terra for more damage, then we can kind of wall it out with this as well. Ground types and immune to grass is just pretty handy. So yeah. And then this will be the fastest thing on the field. Nothing else on our team can hit this 18 speed point, which is why all 3 of these guys are hitting it so far. And then the EVs, just because it's how Little Cup works, these 36 EVs don't do anything in defense or special events, so I might as well put them into attack. And then the 8 EVs do nothing in HP, but I thought it looked aesthetic to have the EVs everywhere, and then 0 IVs for the Life Orb chip stuff. Then we have the MVP of the season, Satoddle. So this thing is super important this week because Ice Shard is a guaranteed KO on the Pick-a-Peck, I think. Actually, I'm not sure if it's a guaranteed KO, but it does like 90% min, I think. So it only needs a tiny bit of chip to be a guaranteed KO. And then we're running with EQ and Knockoff. EQ is just good coverage into her team as well. Knockoff, get rid of items. And then Icicle Spear, because I wanted to run Thick Fat to potentially take a hit from the Litten. And Icicle Spear actually does more reliable damage than Ice Spinner. I mean, not if it hits twice, obviously, but if it only hits once, then if it hits 3 times, then Icicle Spear is generally actually better damage, and obviously it can hit up to 5 times. So it's kind of like an average better output of damage there. And then, yeah, Ice Shard, EQ, Knockoff, Heavy Duty Boots, just to try and keep this thing healthy so I can preserve that Ice Shard for when I need to. And then we're just running a tiny bit of speed investment because most things, like, we really have middling speed on quite a few mons into her team, and then just like the faster things, basically her slower things, I'm not expecting to run speed, so I'm just running enough to outspeed like the leftover EVs for like Shellos, for example. Then we have a Violite Tentacool, running mixed this week with Knockoff. This investment should be able to Oko, Hisui, and Zoro, which is really nice. Then Sludge Wave, not Sludge Bomb. I also had that on the Wooper, by the way, because Chestpin gets bulletproof, so I need to run Sludge Wave instead of Sludge Bomb. Hydro Pump, just good stab into pretty much your entire team, except for that Shellos, which we can't super touch, but it can't get knocked off as well, which is really annoying. But this thing is mostly here just to spin and then fire off powerful Sludge Waves, and is a good way to get damage onto that Bergmite if it does go Terra Fairy. Then I have Score Bunny, running Muscle Band. This is actually for a specific reason. So Muscle Band Temper Flare means that I can guaranteed Oko Pawnyard without having to run Flare Blitz and taking a bunch of recoil, so I can keep my HP on Score Bunny, and if I go like Sucker Punch into Temper Flare, like resist Dark, etc., I can maybe handle it that way as well. And then it also means I can potentially bluff the Scarf set with like just clicking U-turn and Gunk Shot and those kind of moves early on, and then I can potentially get a revenge KO on something that doesn't think I should be able to KO it by swapping to Sucker Punch. I will need to be careful with my Libero calcs, but we should be good there. And then the Muscle Band just gives us a tiny little bit extra damage output that doesn't change enough of the calcs enough that she should be able to tell what it is, if that makes sense. And then just max speed to speed tie, all the fastest things on our team, the Hisui and Zoro, the Litten, the Pick-a-Peck, I think all hit the same speed tier. So both Tentacool and Score Bunny hitting that speed tier. And yeah, so we're running a pretty insane team this week. Some weird techs, as weird as you can get in Little Cup. Like I said, I'm gonna see, because I don't think Thick Fat actually helps us leave anything from an offensive Litten anyway. So I might change this to Sheer Force, Icicle Crash, and I might change the speed EVs on Scraggy. But other than that, this is going to be the team. And yeah, we'll see how we go in the quarterfinals. I'm trying to take this fairly fun still. So like Choice Scarf Wooper, is it the best set? Probably not. But is it fun? Hell yeah. So especially Choice Scarf Mixed Wooper. Like this is... Boys, I'm cooking. I'm fucking firing up here. So yeah, let's get into this battle and see. Alright, we are here for the battle against Maki. She brought the Ducklet, which I wasn't super expecting, but also kind of makes sense because I don't do well with flying spam. So that's unfortunate. There's also the Chestpin. So Terra Fire definitely would have been better on the Blitzle here. But we do have Sap Sipper, so there's that. I was going to lead Wooper. But I think like the Choice Scarf Pick-a-Peck is so obvious that I want to go with Satoddle. Because there's no Shellos, actually, so that makes Score Bunny pretty good. I am going to lead with Sotodle, because I thought Shellos was the best switch into that. And we can just knock something off. Similar to last week, I don't know if she would have scouted that, but I can try and force out the Pick-a-Peck if that is what she leads with, and it's Scarfed. I'm feeling a little bit weird about this battle, to be honest. Didn't have the greatest night's sleep, and I'm just kind of all over the shop. Alright, there's the Ducklet. So we did get the fact that you were going to... This is probably also Scarfed, right? Brave Bird does a lot, but it actually won't KO. You will outspeed me, and that's if you're Life Orb as well. So I think I am just going to click the Icicle Spear and try and get some damage. Because some good rolls... Yes, it does go for Brave Bird. Does 15. That's looking like Scarf. Crit on the first one should mean that if we get... My god, Sotodle just crit too. That's unfortunate. So I'm gonna say probably Scarfed. Dies to Sotodle. That was a turn 1 of all time. It probably didn't super matter. Gatsby's gonna be the Litten. Cool. We now don't take a hit from you, unfortunately. Even if you're like defensive. So I am just going to go into my Tentacle here, because we want to preserve this thing if we can. We do have the Thick Fat, so if it's like defensive we'll take a hit, but I doubt it's defensive. It's just going to be the Flare Blitz. Let's scout this damage. That does 9. That's so much. Jesus. You like Banded, or is that just... Okay, that's just a max roll on, like, Jolly. That's, yeah, just a normal roll on Jolly. So if you're Scarfed, you will outspeed, but you don't KO us. Do I have any reason not to click Hydro Pump here? It'll KO this thing, almost certainly. Yeah, it'll definitely KO this thing. And I can just Sludge Wave the Chestbin afterwards. Okay, so not Scarfed. And I didn't see Life Orb Chip. So not Scarf / Life Orb. U-turn did another 4. So it's looking like... So it has to be max speed Jolly to have speed tied there. But we don't know your item. Could be Boots. Something's gonna have to take a hit here. You didn't bring the Shellos and the Ducklets down. It's gonna be the Chestnut for sure. Oh, no, that's a Bergmite. We do land, which is pretty good. That is specially defensive, which is what I expected. Or probably mixed defensive, actually. So this thing can no longer switch into the Litten anyway. So I think I want to knock and scout the Tera. Yeah, because if I knock off your Eviolite, then we're in good shape. Yeah. Bulldoze, that should KO us. Okay. KOs the Tentacle. Okay. So what I want to go into to revenge this, now that you don't have your Eviolite, I could go Blitzle. We will get revenged by a Sucker Punch is the problem. I could go Scraggy and just click Iron Head, but then Litten gets in for free, and that's not great. And if you Terra Fairy, close combat won't KO. I don't want to go Wooper here, because nothing I want to lock myself into. I doubt Sotodle KOs with anything, so it might have to be Score Bunny. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be Score Bunny here. Which also lets the Litten in. Yeah, I'm going to go Score Bunny. So what are you at? 25, 30, 35, it's up 40%. So if you Tera, Temper Flare might not kill. Gunk Shot should always kill, whether you Tera or not, now that you don't have the Eviolite. So you just need to land. Yeah, she's going to Tera. And we knocked off the Eviolite. So as long as this lands, we kill every time. If it doesn't land, we have a bad time. The Libero pause always sends me for a loop. Okay, so Bergmite's down, so Scarf Scraggy's looking a lot better. Dies to Score Bunny. Cool. So now what do you go into? Probably the Litten. Getting those rocks up would be really nice now, actually. Oh, there's no Zorua. That's the other thing. So no Zorua, no Shellis. Yeah, there's going to be the Litten. So we know you're not... We know that you're offensive. So with the Intimidate... Gunk Shot's still doing like half. And I don't think you're a boosting item. You could be a Violite again. We are a poison type though, so I feel like Flare Blitz... Yeah, Flare Blitz is so free right now. I don't have anything that really wants this. I guess I could go Wooper, because we know you're not Scarfed. Yeah, I think that's the play, actually. Is to switch in Wooper. Preserve the Score Bunny at good HP. Don't reveal the Muscle Band just yet. So we can hopefully pick something off. It's just going to be the U-turn. Okay, I should have maybe seen that coming. If I'd stayed in on that U-turn, it would have been great. Okay, so she made the prediction. U-turn. Flare Blitz. In comes the Pick-a-Peck. Which surely has to click Bullet Seed here. I mean, anything now will take us out because we're low. So I want rocks, or do I just want to click Stone Edge? She would have seen we're not Eviolite from that. I think I just click Stone Edge here. Yeah, okay, she has this Bullet Seed. That'll KO a million Whoopers. But it means we know that you're Scarfed. Which means now we can go into Blitzle. And I think we always just click Flame Charge on the chestman coming in. It won't two-shot is the problem. So do I want to double on the chestman and get into Score Bunny maybe? And I can just click Temper Flare. I think I'll just Flame Charge. So no, Pick-a-Peck is Scarfed. I don't think I played that the best. That's going to be the chestman. It does a good amount. But that does look like it's just standard Eviolite. What do you get that can hit me? You get Bulldoze. So almost certainly we're going to see a bulldoze here. But if I Terra Ground, do I live that? Could also just Synthesis. I'm going to Terra Ground and Flame Charge again. Pick-a-peck, KO'd. Wooper, that was unfortunate. See what you go for here. That's not great for you, hun. That's not good at all. Oh dear. So now we're at +2 speed, so we guaranteed outspeed everything. And we're at +1 attack. So we might just win. There's the Pawn Yard to play around. I mean, we just click Flame Charge again. Okay. Dies to Blitzle. So +3 speed, +1 attack. You have to go Pawn Yard here every single time. And click Sucker. There's the Litten, actually. Just gonna drop our attack back down. But because we're special, I can just click Tera Blast Ground. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for Tera Ground. And claim my kill. Nice. That's turned things around well. That thing was a threat. So now it's just the Pick-a-Peck and the Pawn Yard. So I think we should have this. Because against you, there's no reason trying to play around Sucker Punch. I'm just going to click Terra Blast. Yeah, Sucker Punch is always going to kill. Is there any reason to preserve this thing? No. Just gonna let them get their kill. Yeah, Sucker Punch is gonna take us out. Blitzle did well. Do you see Life Orb? We do see Life Orb. Cool. Now I think I can safely go into Scraggy. And then with Satoddle in the endgame, we should be able to handle the Scarf Pick-a-Peck. Like, do we have any reason not to click Drain Punch here? Yeah, we just click Drain Punch. Just gonna claim our kill. Dies to Scraggy. And then you can go Pick-a-Peck and you will just kill us with Brave Bird or whatever flying type move you want, but then Satoddle gets the kill with Ice Shard. And that's going to be game. Blitzle's a monster with Terra. Yeah, it's going to be the Brave Bird. That'll take us out, but you'll take some recoil, and then Satoddle gets to clean up. And I think we have no reason to risk anything else. It's just going to be a 2-0, I believe. I am sad that my silly techs don't get to do work. Like the Choice Scarf Reaper, obviously. But yeah, that was a solid win. Some scary moments there, playing around the Litten in particular. And I think if she just tried to stall me out with the chestpin rather than go for Wood Hammer, we would have been in a great spot, a really tough spot. But I mean, just getting damage on that thing, making it revengeable by like Scraggy would have been good. And we landed Gunk Shot. Never missed a Gunk Shot. So GG's to Maki. And yeah, we'll be going through to the semi-finals, and I'll see you guys. It might not be next week because scheduling is getting really messy and I'm at a wedding for 5 days next week. It's going to be complicated, so we'll see if we can make it work, but otherwise it'll definitely be the week after or maybe sometime during the week. But yeah, I'll see you guys for semifinals.